I got something to share with you. It's an excerpt from my brand new class called How to Live Your Life's Purpose. And what you're about to experience is a guided process on bringing forth your authentic self, discovering your purpose in this world, and staking your claim in it so you can accomplish even your wildest goals and dreams. So just sit back, follow along, and enjoy. What we're going to do is start by getting in touch with that inner purpose, because this is something that we can't really logically understand. It's something that we can only experience. So we're going to start this course by diving into it, getting an experience of this inner purpose, which many of us have already experienced. We're just going to get in touch with it again. And throughout the course, we're going to continue connecting with this again and again and again, our inner beingness. All right. So just relax. And just take a look to see how you feel about your life. If your life is going the way you want, if everything is perfect and harmonious, if everything in your life you're in agreement with, or see if there's a feeling like there's some things out of balance, some things that are not resolved, or maybe a feeling of feeling incomplete or not fully living up to your purpose. And as you look at your life as you've made it, just bring your awareness now to your stomach or chest. And notice if you have any contraction right now in your stomach or chest. Any tightness. That tightness is showing you where you're out of balance, where you're fighting with your life, rather than being in acceptance and harmonious with your life. And all that is just a feeling. Now open up an imaginary door or window right in front of that tightness, wherever you feel it. And let that energy pass through. And let it pass through even more. And even more. And even more. And just keep letting that energy leave. Keep that door open. So often we get distracted and we end up shutting that door, closing ourselves off. And before we know it, we end up trapped in the mind. We got no business being. We end up being a slave when we're coming from our mind. But just opening up the door is opening yourself up to beingness and letting that energy pass through. And just notice how good that feels. Now, welcome up some more energy, some more feelings. Maybe you have some feelings of disappointment, missed opportunities. Or maybe you feel like you're past your prime. Everything's downhill from here, not downhill in a good way. Just welcome that up. Let that energy go. And notice if you're thinking that way in any way that you're coming from the mind. You're coming from the realm of time. And you're looking at a very limited scope of your existence, calculated in just a few years. So welcome that up. Just open up and let that energy go. And even more. And even more. Now, rather than looking at all the disappointments and what ifs and couldas and shouldas, what is it about your life that's really spectacular? Just take a look at some of your accomplishments, some things that you've done with your life that you're happy about, that have really touched you and touched that part of you that says, wow, this is what I'm here for. This is the best of existence. And just look at that. And notice you probably don't have any clutching when you're looking at that. It's just open, free, effortless. You feel elated, even. And notice the difference between these two scenarios when you're in one versus the other. When you're in one, where you have the clutching and you have the disappointments and regrets and the worries, you're in your mind. And that's no good. Whereas the times when you truly feel on top of the world, you're not in your mind, are you? You're in a state of surrender. It's like an allowing something greater to take control, to take over. So, what if the greatest act you could do is just surrender? Turn everything over to beingness. And isn't it easy when you just do it? Just like throwing your hands up, said, enough. I'm not going to fall for the trap of the mind anymore. I'm going to let go of all of my worries, all of my cares, all of my frustrations, all of my desires, and let beingness take over. I'm going to surrender to the will of beingness. Notice how nice that feels. Now, you might not feel that way fully. The ego might still be here going, oh, I can't do it. I got too many problems. Or I'm not ready yet. If I do that, my life is going to fall apart. And maybe a fear is coming up or a frustration. Take your pick. What's your ego throwing at you? Now, no matter what your ego is throwing at you, notice who you are to receive it. And the fact that you are the one who's receiving it shows you that you're the owner. So you don't have to take that garbage, to put up with the fear, live with it. You could do something about it or that frustration. But let's just start with frustration. What are you currently frustrated about in your life? Just pick one. And welcome up that frustration. It's just a feeling. It's been something that you've been holding down. And holding it down doesn't do you any good. It doesn't get you anywhere. So welcome up that frustration. Now open up that door just the same way. Imagine that frustration as energy moving right on out the door. Just open up and let that energy leave. And let it leave even more. And even more. And even more. And even more. And welcome up some more of that frustration. It's just a feeling. It's not good. It's not bad. Just a feeling. Allow it to arise. Allow it to pass through. And even more. Just hand it over to beingness. Let that frustration melt away into beingness. And let it go even more. And even more. And even more. And welcome up even more frustration. Now that you have some momentum going, pull some more up. It's like peeling layers away, like an onion, just a layer at a time. You'll see. It's probably a deeper layer there. You can just call it up and just hand that over to beingness now. Welcome it up and just let that energy pass through. And even more. And even more. All right, notice how you feel. All right, now let's take a look at fear. What about the world that you live in? Get you feeling insecure, unsafe. Maybe it's your health. Maybe it's your business, politics, things that are going on in the world. And welcome up that fear. And notice how ridiculous it is to walk around with fear. Because does that fear help you in any way? It's like carrying around a big ball and chain. And welcome up that fear. And you might feel it arising. You might feel a contraction as well. Just open up that door wide open and let that energy go right on out the door. And more. And even more. And even more. And even more. Open up. Stay open. Just keep watching that energy move right on out the door. And notice when you're focused on keeping this door open, this brings you into the present moment where past and future don't matter. The only thing that matters is now. And there's some suppressed energy. I'm just letting it go now. And the more I let it go, the lighter I feel, the more alive I feel, the more present I am. And this is identifying with your beingness instead of being hypnotized by the mind. Now, when it comes to our inner purpose, this is where it's at. Because our outer purpose necessarily involves time. We have plans, we have goals. That all takes place in the realm of time. And we can still be involved with those goals and the arc from their inception until their completion. And we can travel that arc in the realm of time. But if we're also connected with our inner purpose, no matter where we are on that arc, We can be present with that step in that moment. So it's really being aware of both realms, the realm of the mind and the realm of now. And you can be involved in both. But let's start by becoming deeply anchored in the realm of now. Right? Now just take a look to see if there's anything that you want to control about the world. What do you want to control? And notice that leaves you out of control. Could you let go of wanting to control that? And more. And even more. And even more. And even more. And could you let go of wanting control? And even more. And even more. And take a look to see where it is that you're looking for approval in the world. From your family, your colleagues, society, being a good person, doing all the right things, following the program just like everybody else. Or you want people to admire you, look up to you, recognize you. But notice where that leaves you. always chasing after it, always feeling like you lack it. And you have to work for approval. You have to do some silly dance. Sometimes even if you don't even want to do it, don't even agree with it, but you do it anyway. But could you let go of wanting approval? And more, and even more, and even more, and even more, and even more. And could you let go of wanting approval? Even more, and even more. And even more. Mm. Now bring up the wanting safety, that want to survive at all costs. Now, you've heard Lester say before, all of our feelings culminate in a pro survival feeling. All of our feelings are all about wanting to keep ourselves surviving. So we got to get everybody to love us. We got to feel like we're in control at all times so we can feel safe and secure. So we can keep this body surviving. But it's a losing battle. We see what happens to these bodies. We see that these bodies are not permanent, yet we're struggling so hard. And we're walking around with this negative feeling of lacking safety. Bring up that wanting safety now. And could you let go of wanting safety? And could you let go of wanting safety even more? And even more. And even more. Could you let go of wanting safety even more? And even more. and even more. Now, before I mentioned that the mind is a trap. It keeps us enslaved. And the only way that we really find that out is experiencing what it's like to move beyond the mind. Experiencing there's a whole wide world, a reality beyond the thinking, by what the mind sees. Now get a picture of your mind, whatever that looks like to you. Could you allow that picture to evaporate and dissolve? Could you allow that picture to evaporate and dissolve even more? And even more. And even more. And let that picture evaporate and dissolve even more. And even more. And even more. Now get a picture of your body, whatever that looks like to you. And imagine that picture now, evaporating and dissolving. And more. And more. And even more. And even more. And even more. Now get a picture of your ego, whatever that means to you. Your persona, your story, your identity, all those memories that make up who you are. It's all stories from the mind, pulled from memory, past decisions. I'm like this. I'm this way. I'm that way. And I want to keep this story going. I want to make this story great. Just get a picture of your ego, the little you. Could you allow that picture to evaporate and dissolve? And more, and even more, and even more. Now get in touch with that part of you that says, if I don't do it, it won't get done. I got to do everything. I've been put in this world and I have to work my butt off to keep my place in this world. Just get in touch with that concept. If I don't do it, it won't get done. And could you allow that story to evaporate and dissolve? And more, and even more, and even more, and even more. Now ask yourself this question. If I'm not my mind, if I'm not my body, if I'm not my ego, what am I? And just take whatever you get and surrender to what answer comes up, whatever that is. If I'm not my mind, if I'm not my body, if I'm not my ego, what am I? Just take what you get. Just surrender to it. Let that answer take you wherever it's going. Just let go. Just let it take you along. Surrender to it even more. And are you? Notice your answer. Are you? Are you? Are you? Are you? Now take a deep breath in and say to yourself, I, and exhale slowly and say am. And take a deep breath in, say I, and exhale, am. I, am. I, am. I, am. And let yourself get quiet. And notice how quiet has all the answers. Quiet just knows. There's always an instant knowingness. Let's check in with quiet. Ask quiet if there's any such thing as the past. What does quiet say? Ask quiet if there's any such thing as the future. What does quiet say? Ask quiet if there's any such thing as good or bad. Ask quiet if there's any such thing as right or wrong. And ask quiet what your purpose is. What does quiet say? And ask quiet what you should do with your life. And ask quiet that there's any limit to what you do with your life. What does quiet say? And ask quiet if it even matters. Ask quiet if the world is real. What does quiet say? And ask quiet if you are real. Are you? Are you? So, this is the experience of beingness. It's being conscious of consciousness, aware of awareness. And that's it. It's not complicated. It's not some magical transition where you walk through a doorway of light, you step through the other side of something else. It's just a shift of perception. It's just about what you're identifying with. And notice the world goes on, life continues, but it matters not. It just continues. And the less it matters, the more harmoniously it continues. When you just get yourself out of the way. Now, how good can this get? Take a look at what you're experiencing now and let that go. See if it can get even better. And whatever you're experiencing now, could you let that go? And see if it can get even better. And could it get even better? Could you let go and find out? And could it get even better? Could you let go and find out? Could you hand yourself over to beingness? Just let go. And let beingness take you wherever it's going. It's like jumping onto a raft or an inner tube. in a stream, in a gentle river. You just let that river take you along wherever it's going. And all you have to do is just lay back, soak up the sun, and enjoy the ride. Could you surrender to beingness? Turn everything over to beingness. Set your ego aside. Let go of those preferences. They're not so important. From quiet's point of view, it's just a momentary whim. Where quiet is forever. Beingness is eternal. Can you let go and hand everything over to beingness? And let go even more. And even more. And even more. And just let yourself be here in this moment. Just be. And be. And be. And enjoy the stillness. Nowhere to go. Nothing to do. It's just perfect. Now. And now. And now. And it's full of peace. Now. And it's full of fulfillment. Now. Nothing to want for. Nothing is needed in this now. And when you're ready, you can allow your eyes to open. But just set your mind aside and just keep it aside. Notice you don't need it. You could do just fine without thinking. You haven't passed out, gone unconscious. Whether you think or whether you don't think, you are. And that you can't help. You always are. You always have been. You always will be. All right. So, like I said, we're going to start off spending some time getting crystal clear on what our purpose is in the world. Because this is something that we've been chasing our whole life, and it's always been a moving target. Chances are, when you're a small child, you had some ideas of what you wanted to be when you grew up. I want to be a fireman. I want to be a pirate. Yeah. I want to be a doctor. I want to do good in the world. You have these ideas, and then maybe you decided, like, on a field of study, on a profession, okay, I want to be a veterinarian. All right, so you study, you do that, and maybe you do that for a while, and you feel like, oh, well, this is nice and all, but it's not really fulfilling me, or it's just a bunch of work. Okay, so I'm a veterinarian. Now what? Okay, woo. All right, now I'm going to work every day. And part of us loves what we do, part of us doesn't love what we do. And then we go looking for something else to do. All right, so I did this for a while. Now let me go back to school, learn another field of study, do something else. Or now that I've been a veterinarian, maybe I'll get in business. Maybe I'll sell pet food, you know? And we just kind of move and evolve. But we're always looking for something. We're always searching. So what we're going to get clear on is exactly what it is that we're looking for, really what we want to do and be in the world. That's called our outer purpose. And we're also going to focus more on our inner purpose. Like I said, our inner purpose, regardless of where we are on the arc of our outer purpose, our inner purpose always brings us into the now. And this one step that we're taking now, and just being with that step fully and feeling in that step, we're already whole and complete, and we're full of joy and love. So we're going to get clear on that so we can be rooted in that at all times. Now, in order to really be in this place where we're connected with our inner purpose fully and consistently, we're going to knock out two major barriers. These are two big things we're going to tackle and let go of in this course. And that is, number one, the fear of dying. That is something that is haunting us. We're fighting every single day to survive as a body. And that's what keeps us going to work every day, punching a time clock so I can earn enough money to keep a roof over my head and keep food on the table. And we're always worrying and wondering if we're going to be able to maintain our lifestyle. And what if we get old? Are we going to be able to support ourselves? We're always worried about dying. We're always looking to keep ourselves safe. We watch what we eat. We watch the air that we breathe. We're always worried when we go outside. Don't get run over. Don't mess with the wrong person. So we're going to let that go. Now just imagine what you could do in the world. What you would be free to do if you had no fear of dying. And this isn't about being reckless, but notice how courageous you would be, how willing you would be to take opportunities, to take risks, to really go for your dreams. If you had no fear of dying, really, would there be anything holding you back? If you knew you could not die, if you knew you are eternal, I mean, really know, not just logically, but you know, and you know, you know. So that's number one. We're going to let go of that fear of dying. So we could really let the love come out, our aliveness come out. And number two, we're going to let go of the feeling of separation. And this is a program that we put into the mind, the want to be separate. And we're going to be exploring that, what that means to be separate. But we're doing it all the time. We're always separating ourselves, us versus them. And what that does is it encloses us. It limits us, ourselves. So we're going to knock down those barriers.
So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you got a lot out of it, let me know by liking it and leaving me a comment below. And if you want to find out more about this new class, How to Live Your Life's Purpose, I'm going to drop some links to it in the description below. So check it out. And until next time, happy releasing and be the best you can be.